allowing us and other so we are back to meeting virtually for a number of reasons, including obviously health and safety, but we're also having problems finding sufficiently large venues that were willing to host meetings that, particularly the size of this committee, that often attract 50 people or so. So the thinking is we'll be meeting virtually at least for the next 4 months, both the committees and the full board. This committee hears applications for liquor licenses. I want to stress that we only make recommendations. We have no ability to grant or deny a liquor license. We will hear from each applicant in turn and then take a vote on that application, whether to recommend approval or denial or approval with stipulations. That recommendation then goes to the full board of Community Board 4, which on its next meeting on October 6th will take its own vote on this and then based on that vote, we will make a recommendation to the State Liquor Authority. So anyone is welcome to come to the full board meeting and speak for 2 minutes during the public session about any applicant tonight. And you're also welcome to pursue things with the State Liquor Authority. In most cases, there'll be a 500-foot hearing, and then often applications are actually heard by the 3 commissioners. So there are multiple opportunities after today to get your voice heard if you are happy or unhappy with the way things go tonight. Just to remind people about the Zoom format, this is what's called a Zoom webinar. The only people that you see on screen are the committee members of the VLP committee and the applicants and their attorneys. Everyone else is in sort of a public space. If you want to be heard on an applicant, when that application is called, just use the raise hand function, which is at the bottom of your screen, to raise your hand. At that point, our Assistant District Manager, Nelly Gonzalez, will move you into the main meeting. You'll be able to be seen and heard on screen and speak to the committee. I also want to remind everyone that pursuant to the law allowing us to meet virtually, these meetings are being streamed live on YouTube, and then videos of it will be posted, I suppose, for eternity on YouTube. And we're also required to keep a transcript of the meeting, which fortunately the Zoom function does automatically. So bear all that in mind, and I hope we all proceed with suitable decorum. We're going to follow the agenda. As you may have seen, one item has been adjourned to next month. 221 West 17th Street, Big Deal Limited will not be heard tonight. We expect it'll be heard next month. Other than that, we will follow the agenda. We hear from each applicant in turn, take questions from the committee, hear comments from the community if there's anyone who wants to comment, and then we will vote. So we'll begin with the beer, wine, and cider applications. Agenda item 1, 575 8th Avenue, Angelina's 575 8 Corp.
Hi, my name is Samuel An. I'm the attorney for Angelina 575 8 Corp. Angelina 5758 Corp is a cafe, bakery style kind of a premise. It's located at 575 8th Avenue, New York, New York. It's between 38th and 39th Street on 8th Avenue. They've been in business for about 3 years. They would like to be able to sell beer and wine. Their hours are restricted. There is no bar. The hours are from 7:30 a.m. in the morning, Monday to Friday, and closing at 8 p.m. to Thursday, and then 10 p.m. on Friday, Saturday, and Saturday, and then on Sunday closing at 5 p.m. The premises is about 2,000 square feet with a mezzanine seating area in the mezzanine and some seating area on the ground floor. There's a full-time manager on the premises. His name is Joseph Kim. I'm not sure whether he's appearing today. Joseph, are you joining us? Are you in the meeting?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, Joseph. if you want to chip in, let me know. Okay, just come in. All right.
Got it.
The owner of Angelina 5758 Corp also owns a restaurant on 32nd Street in Koreatown as a co-owner, and that's a Korean barbecue restaurant. He has had no prior violations with the liquor authority of any kind, and that license has been in effect about 4.5 years. That's about all I have to say here.
We did previously have a wine license at this location. Was that before your client? Your client's never had a license here before, correct?
No, that's
Okay.
correct.
So to the committee, this location previously had a wine license. The place was open 24 hours at that time, and we didn't put any time limitation on the license. So I guess theoretically, they could have been selling wine until 4 a.m. But we're not aware of any problems there. This place obviously has much more limited hours. Sir, just so you understand, so these hours, 8 and 10 p.m., these are your closing hours, right? They're not last call. It's the time all your customers are going to be gone?
Yes.
Okay. And the only other question I had, which was on page 4 of the stipulation form, and I think this is just a terminology issue. We asked if you're going to have a canopy over the sidewalk, and you said yes. What we mean by canopy are those things that apartment buildings have, you know, the thing that goes over the sidewalk with poles at the curb, not just an awning off the building.
Yeah,
So are you having a canopy or just an awning?
Just an awning, Frank.
Okay, so I'm going to change your answer to the canopy question to no.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and that's all I have for this. Any questions or comments from the committee members?
I have 2 questions, Frank.
Okay.
First, you say the occupancy, not the occupancy, but the plan use is for 100 people, but there are just 18 tables and 40 chairs. Where are all the other people? 200.
I think the answer to that is that the CO allows for 225.
I'm not asking about that. I'm asking about the difference between 100 as what you expect to be the use of the space, and the number of tables and chairs, which is much, much less.
Yeah, Christine, if you look
Is that including the mezzanine?
If you look at the floor plan, there are very few seats on the bigger ground floor. It's mostly workspace and service areas and, you know, sort of display cases, a pizza stand, donut stand. So the seating is mostly on the mezzanine, which is about half the size. So I expect the 100 is employees or people coming in and out to get things to go, waiting for things, that sort of stuff. But the seating seemed rough. I didn't count, but it looks roughly consistent with the 18 and 40 numbers.
Is that what it is? I'm asking the attorney.
Yes. I counted the seating on the plans that was submitted.
Yeah, I just wanted to have.
But the extra people, the people above 60, the 60 people above the 40 seats, they're employees or people just getting orders to go, or who are the other 60 people you expect?
Well, this is also a bakery, so we have a lot of people lined up to pick up their coffee and their bakery items and their sandwiches and so forth.
Okay. All right. And then the second question I have is that you are operating an open restaurant right now?
No, this is more like a cafe right now.
No, I'm asking today you are operating a place on the side, on the extended sidewalk, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying no space outside, but in fact you have an outside space.
Well, I thought the question was asking about sidewalk space.
Yeah.
No, there is a question which says, what about the other outside space, which is not sidewalk? Outdoor items other than sidewalk cafe.
Yeah, we are using the outside space. That's being allowed by the Department of Transportation
right.
during COVID.
So my comment about that is that it's very large and it's very, it's not used a lot. And as the people are coming back to work, it's a little bit in the way. So I don't know what your plans are about that, but I don't think that area should be licensed.
When you said, yeah.
Christine, as I understand it, though, under open restaurants currently, we still don't have, if this will, oh, I see, he's getting, all right, we actually have two issues, sir. If you did not have a license, I believe this works, and maybe your lawyer knows. I believe if you were not licensed as of January 7, you actually have to give us a separate 30-day notice to be in the open restaurants program. I mean, what's confusing to me in this instance is they had been in the open restaurants program, but without alcohol.
Right.
So I do not know whether that required the separate 30-day notice or not. I guess my sense is probably not, because he is in open restaurants. He's just seeking to extend alcohol to it now.
Well, I don't know how it works, but I mean, let me ask your plans. I mean, are you going to stay in that location, or are you going to make it smaller, or are you going to remove it, since you are going to get a much larger space inside and you're going to have a license inside?
Well, no, the inside license, the interior of the premises doesn't change. It's the same size.
Mm-hmm.
We're just seeking alcohol.
Right.
So given look, if the Department of Transportation prohibits no sidewalk outdoor use, then we're okay with that. But to
well,
the extent
we have an ongoing discussion with the Department of Transportation whether when they build a sidewalk extension, which is because the sidewalk is crowded, whether that space should be used for restaurants, because it doesn't make sense. You understand how crowded that area was, and if it was not crowded, I would not raise that issue. I'm just raising that issue because it's an incredibly crowded area. Yeah,
the outdoor space is very helpful financially for the restaurant.
I never see anybody there, so don't tell me it's financially helpful. I've never seen. I live right next to it, and I don't see ever anybody there. Maybe one or two people from time to time.
Well, the fact that he's there helps people come in and sit outside, and it helps.
Well, but could you cut it down by half? I mean, just make only one row.
This is something that we could talk to the ownership. Yes, Joseph.
Yes.
Yes, is this something you can bring to the ownership and discuss with them about the concern of the community board member? They think that the outdoor space is not being maximally utilized.
I see. In terms of it being utilized, it really depends on the peak hours of our cafe. Especially during the morning time, there are a lot of people that stop by the bakery / cafe, and they do tend to want to just sit outside, get a little sunlight, get a little wind in their face while they're taking a sip of their coffee or having a croissant. And usually it is packed. But there are a lot of downtimes nowadays just because of the ongoing COVID variant going around. And in my defense, I do believe that the outdoor seating area does help the store a lot. It could be a little better, but we could discuss with reducing the size if it really is a bother. But at this point,
I think it is a big bother. And I think, instead of taking the whole space, you were taking half of the space in depth. It would allow people to, because what happened is that the pedestrians are walking there and then they are bumping into this thing. And they can't continue.
Is it all on the sidewalk, the open restaurant seating?
So we're actually
they are taking the extension.
Right, but it's the sidewalk. They don't have anything in the roadway.
Yes.
No, it is all on the roadway.
Oh, it's all on the roadway.
But the roadway is the sidewalk, because the sidewalk has been extended in the roadway.
Oh, I see. And then therefore they can't use the roadway next to the extended sidewalk.
Well,
other words-
they are using the sidewalk extension.
Now, my question is, could they have roadway seating there? And
No,
would you really-
no,
Yeah,
no.
you can't have it. Okay.
No, they can't. They can't. And 8th Avenue, I mean, it's extremely crowded. And I wouldn't want to establish. So the problem is, if you are on this extension because it's crowded, then you arrive there and you can't continue. It's just blocking completely the flow. And
Joseph, isn't there sidewalk space that people walk in front and back and forth?
But the reason why the sidewalk extension was built is because the sidewalk in front was insufficient.
So right now, our outdoor seating area is actually placed right next to a stationed police car.
No, that's not a reference, sir. I'm sorry. The police car is supposed to be there for 1 month and it's going to disappear.
And we're just telling you that's where it is. That's,
No, we know, I know. I live next to it. I know that intimately.
Yeah. Here's, I think, the issue. The sidewalk, and this is not just true of you, it's wherever there's sidewalk extensions. Sidewalks were made larger because of pedestrian flow. So it was allowed, the DOT allowed the sidewalks to be however many feet larger to accommodate pedestrians. But what's happened with open restaurants is they don't take account of that, and they only say you need the same 8 feet for a pedestrian path, whether it's a regular sidewalk or whether it's an expanded sidewalk. So you sort of got lucky here because you have a bigger sidewalk and you could take up more of your space with your sidewalk seating. And the point Christine is making is it is not particularly community spirited to take all that extra space for your use and reduce the pedestrians to the same 8 feet they had before, which was deemed not enough by the Department of Transportation.
Okay, we note the concern. This is something that we'll bring up to the ownership and seriously consider having them maybe downsize the outdoor seating area.
Okay. And what Christine is asking is that it be made narrower, not that you chop it off at the end, but the whole thing be reduced so it's sort of closer to the building and there's more sidewalk along the whole way.
Yeah,
That's
so
right.
that there is sidewalk on each side. There would be sidewalk on the sidewalk and sidewalk in the extension on the other side of the seating.
All right. I just want to welcome our co-host, Bert Lazarin, who was just able to join us. Bert, we're still on the first agenda item.
I've been listening on the phone as I'm trying to get on.
Okay.
Been following the conversation.
And it is one thing that we put in our resolution for the sidewalk, for the permanent open restaurant, that they would not be in those extension because it's in clear conflict with the intention. But we already, we would be amenable to meet you halfway.
Good. All right. Well, why don't we see Nellie? Is there anyone from the community who wants to speak on this application?
There's no one with a raised hand.
Okay. Anybody else from the committee?
There's someone that just raised their hand.
Okay.
Lucy?
She's just asking about the police car. Maybe Christine or someone can answer. Oh, you moved her in.
Yeah. What about the police car? What's the question?
It's why is it there?
A police car. So in the middle, the answer is that in the middle of, the COVID, when we had a massive amount of hotels, which had been transformed in homeless shelter, this area in front of there is a little plaza here in front of the hotel next to this place. And that plaza had become really kind of a ground zero for shooting and all kinds of misbehavior. So the department, the NYPD installed a truck here to you kind of deter the activity. And you know how is NYPD. Well, now they have taken a space. It's going to be forever to get rid of them. So we have been pushing them to get rid of it because the situation has changed. And there is no need to have such a big installation to deter. We need to just have some officers walking around there from time to time.
Thank you for answering my question, Christine. Sorry, what's the exact intersection where that NYPD truck is currently based?
It's between 38 and 39. There is a hotel in the middle of the block. And in front of the hotel, there is a plaza, a pedestrian plaza with seating. So that's where it is.
Okay. And you said is that on 8th Avenue?
Yes, we are talking about 8th Avenue here. So what they did is they requisited the sidewalk. They even requisited the bike lane, and we had to go fight them so that they leave the bike lane open. And now we need to convince them that, there is no need anymore to have humongous truck and the humongous barriers and everything. It's like a fortified position. So what they did is they requisited the sidewalk. I can't hear anything. Who is speaking?
Lucy, to answer your question, you might mute yourself. I think we're getting feedback. Thank you.
And now we need to convince them. Who is speaking? I can't hear anything.
No one. Oh, well, Christine, do you want to just leave this up to their community spirit, or how do you want to proceed?
Christine, you're muted.
Yes, I'd like to put a stipulation that the outdoor space will be, I think we should have two stipulations. One is the outdoor space is reduced by half in depth. So it leaves a fair amount of pedestrian space. And possibly that it's not licensed for, they don't serve alcohol out there. I understand the coffee, but that.
Yeah. So Christine, up until now, we have not tried to deal with open restaurants at all. I mean, we're content to let people operate. Well, we sort of had no power to do anything. And we were just content to let the city rules play out so that there was sort of a level playing field, which I think was part of what the city was after with open restaurants. Things have changed a little with the recent SLA rules, but as I said, this is something of a gray area because they already had it under open restaurants and now they're seeking the liquor license. But I think we need to keep that in mind and think about how much we're going to try to negotiate with people about open restaurants while it remains.
Well, I think this situation is pretty unique in the neighborhood, in the district. We don't have any other space where, 8th Avenue is the only space where we have those extensions, those extensions.
So what you're saying is for 8th Avenue places, you would ask. Yeah. In other words, that we would try to get where we're trying to get with permanent open restaurants, which is, the sidewalk extensions not be considered in open restaurants.
Yeah, we have a resolution about that already. Yeah. So I think on 8th Avenue, it's really a specific issue of pedestrian volume. And, if it was on 10th Avenue, I wouldn't ask the same thing because there would be much less traffic.
The density on 8th Avenue of pedestrians is probably the greatest of any of the north-south streets.
Yeah.
What do, Christine, I would sort of defer to you since you know the immediate neighborhood so much better. Do other committee members have views on this?
Hey, this is Rob. I agree with Christina in this matter. It is extraordinary wide compared to all the other outside eating areas in the street. So, yeah.
Okay. To the applicant, are you able to agree tonight to reduce the size of it, or was I hearing you need to check with the owner?
No, we need to check with the ownership because I'm just not authorized. I didn't think this was becoming an issue. This is something that the landlord has granted us to do to help us financially with the rents and so forth. I mean, this plays a critical area. We are a valuable part of the community, trying to make a living and paying the expenses, hiring people, and you know they provide a good service from breakfast, lunch, and now we're trying to do something for dinner. As you can see, our hours are very restricted. I'm not a bar. It's not going to be a bar scene. It's not a full-fledged restaurant.
None of that is the issue. If this
No,
if this were just an inside liquor license, we would have been done with this 20
No,
minutes ago.
I realize that. So we'll go back to them and believe, Joseph and I will go back to the ownership and recommend that this be downsized.
Mhm.
But I'm just not authorized to be able to say, look, it's going to happen tonight.
Okay.
And, and
Also
on
be
the other
aware
point,
that, be aware that what we recommend goes to the full board,
Right.
and the full board will be doing a vote. So whatever discussions you're gonna have with the owner should take place soon. So we know
Yes.
what will be coming before the full board.
yeah, when does it before go to full board?
October 6th, but we would need to know in advance of that. Nellie, when would you need a decision on this?
September 27th.
Okay. So we need to know by September 27 what you're going to do. And I guess, Christine and Bird, we need to figure out what kind of, if we want to make, Christine, do you want to make a motion with sort of recommending approval conditioned on this reduction? And if they don't agree to reduce, then our recommendation becomes a denial. Is that where you're headed?
That's where I'm headed, but it's a beer and wine, right?
Yes.
It's a beer and wine.
Yeah. But that's what I would like. I think this is a very good establishment. It's very nice. It helps raise the level of the block. So we like it, I don't want anybody to think that we are against the establishment. It's just like a balancing act between one thing and another.
Okay. So what would you say concretely? How would you want it reduced?
Well, I would like to, I would like to reduce it by half and group everything against the curb. And it would be half in the depth of the setup.
So I'm trying to picture this because I haven't been by this. So they have seating against the building, then this sidewalk?
No, there is nothing against the building. It's all in the roadway, except that roadway happened to be a sidewalk.
Got it.
It's a walking lane.
Yeah. How burdensome is this to move? Do they have a big structure or they have to rebuild, or is it just?
Well, they have to modify it.
Okay.
Hey, Joseph,
Yes.
can you chip in and talk to us about what kind of structure this is? Is it going to be difficult to downsize?
From my knowledge, we will have to probably break down certain parts of the actual base of the outdoor seating area. That's the only way we could actually downsize it. But moving it around shouldn't be too big of a deal.
Temporary structures anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're not asking to move it around. We're just asking to make it less shallower,
Yeah.
Yeah.
At that point, we might have to just break down some of the walls and then rebuild it.
Yeah.
Wait, I thought you said you were asking them to move it against the building.
No.
Oh, you just wanted to reduce it by half.
Yes.
My suggestion would be, look, is reducing it by a third acceptable? Is this something that can work, Christine?
Why by a third? This is 2 rows of table. You have to reduce it by half. A third is not going to help.
I'm trying to preserve the ability to be able to generate income for the
but
applicant.
I mean,
you're asking for half, and that's a lot of work, and it's going to at a time when people are eating, it's going to impact them financially. I mean, this is a valuable part of your community. A business person trying to being able to pay rent. I'm not getting a rent break from the landlord here. Yeah.
I think,
And that's the reason we're selling alcohol. I mean, that's just to be able to. I mean, if you'd rather have somebody that's closed than shuttered, I don't know. I don't think that's the community.
My recommendation is to have a resolution which says that we are asking to reduce it by half in depth, and that's it.
Okay.
Second.
Is your hand up?
Yeah.
Okay,
Please.
so just so people are clear, the motion on the table is that if the applicant agrees to reduce their open restaurant seating in size by 1/2 in depth, we would recommend approval. And if they don't agree, our recommendation to the full board becomes a denial. So I guess we will now take a vote on that motion.
Pooey, is your hand up seconding, or you want to have make a statement?
Thank you,
Rob
Bert.
seconded.
I raised my hand, not to second. I guess I want, this is said between 38th, 39th, and 8th Avenue. So it's sort of near Times Square. It's sort of, I guess it's the garment district, but it sort of seems to be near Times Square. And right next door to it, I'm looking on Google Maps, there's like a I Love New York gift and luggage store. I don't know if it's still open. But I think one thing that people have to keep in mind is that given the fact that there are these Vax cards, Excelsior passes, and if this is in the tourist area, there are going to be people outside of New York who don't agree with getting Vax. And so if there's going to be a carding situation and they can only sit outside, then that sounds like what they're trying to say, in that if they want to have tourists to be able to sit outside and get business, that they want to try to keep that open. I do agree with Christine. I know that this area is highly contested only because it gets really thick, with people. But that's just something to keep in mind in any area near Times Square. I think that's going to be a major factor, unfortunately, somewhat political too.
Okay, thank you. So, I mean, I think we've aired the, sort of pros and cons about the current motion. And again, it is getting into something we've not done yet because of the special circumstances of 8th Avenue. But we're still on the first agenda item, and it's been a half hour, so we probably should take a vote on that. And then if that does not pass, then we'll see if we have another motion. So this is approval. The motion is we recommend approval only if the applicant will agree to reduce the open restaurant seating by 1/2 in depth. So
Okay.
everyone in favor of that?
Aye.
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 Thursday, definitely.
Melly, did you get that?
I don't know. Who is opposed? Let's ask.
That was too fast.
Okay. In favor, keep your hands up or say, Rob, we know you're aye.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I think I got everybody.
Okay. Opposed? Is anybody opposed?
Yes,
Peggy.
I see 2 hands. Was it
All
2
right.
hands? Peggy?
Yep, Peggy.
Okay. Was it somebody else? Okay, abstain?
2-8.
And present not eligible? So did you get everybody, Nellie?
Yes.
And so what was the vote?
Nine yes, 1 no, 1 abstain.
Is that everybody? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, there are 12 people here, 12 committee members.
Did Rob vote?
Rob
Roll
voted.
call. Roll call vote.
Yeah, let's, sorry, let's just do a quick roll call to get this right. Bert,
Yes.
I'm yes. Mike,
Aye.
Rob,
Aye.
Ted,
Aye.
Christine,
Aye.
Wendy,
Aye.
Carrie,
Aye.
Tina,
Aye.
Twee.
Abstain.
Okay, Peggy.
Renee.
Okay, and Candace.
Aye.
Okay.
Wait, did Ted vote? Oh, okay.
Okay, so we got 12 now, Nellie?
We have a ghost vote.
Oh, I forgot you, Frank. Sorry. So yes, I have everyone now.
All right. So, is the applicant still here?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay. So this is what I'll have. So you have two options here. You can, if you agree to reducing it by half, the committee will recommend to the full board that the thing be approved. And my sense is that there'd be no discussion about it at the full board. If you don't want to do that, you're welcome to come to the full board meeting, and you have 2 minutes to make a pitch about why the committee was wrong, and you should be allowed to keep your entire open seating, and the full board may or may not agree with you. The full board does not always go along with what committees recommend. So you don't have to decide that now, but those are your options. You just need to let us know by September 27 what you're doing.
Okay, so the issue is about just the size of the outdoor seating area.
Right. And
Yeah.
if you
The depth of it.
Okay.
Yeah, if you agree to reduce it in half by depth, everything's all set with us, and we'd recommend approval.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you
Sounds
for your
good.
time.
Thank you.
Okay, we're up to item number 2. 746 10th Avenue between 50 First Street. Is the applicant here? The lawyer for the applicant? Relatives of the applicant?
Nellie, did we look on the participants are raising hands? Are they?
Are they
Okay, let's
the
see.
applicants?
I will promote them to see.
Okay.
Yes, one of them you just added is the representative.
Okay.
Attorney representative.
Good.
Hello.
Are they on?
Yeah, but muted.
This is an operation that would be open 11 to midnight, 7 days a week.
Nellie, do you have the representative muted or?
No, they can unmute themselves.
Okay. Could the applicant for 746 10th Avenue unmute yourself, please? Yeah, we're back to square one with Zoom meetings.
This is JU. You are on, but you need to unmute yourself.
If you're on a phone, it's *6.
I have someone else on the attendee side raising their hands.
Okay.
Young Choi, yeah.
Oh, hello. Hello.
Yeah.
Hi there.
Hi.
Hi. I'm sorry. Like I don't know what I didn't know what button to press. I didn't get any options on the Zoom. So can you guys hear me or see me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right,
We
cool.
can.
Great.
We can hear you. We can't see you, but
Oh,
hearing,
okay. All right. I
hearing
mean
is fine.
that's at least better than what I was struggling with. So thank you.
Yeah. Your representative is muted though, so we can't seem to get it on him or her on mute.
Okay.
But if you can talk, that'll be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's trying to get on, but I mean, I can speak for it as much as I can, and we'll go
Okay.
from
Go
there.
right ahead.
Here it is.
Sorry. This is JU.
Okay. All right. So now you can decide which of you is going to speak.
I'll do that, the introductory. It is a 1209 Jackson Inc. DBA is a Bullpup Grill at 746 10th Avenue, New York, 10019. Mr. Choi Young is the president, and my name is J.U. I'm the representative. We are applying for the restaurant wine license for the location, and it is a Korean restaurant. And the premise is currently licensed to sell beer and wine under the HSK Hospitality Inc. But during the COVID, I believe they went out of business. It was a Japanese restaurant. It is about 1,200 square feet with 4 tables and a bar with 10 sittings. And hours of operation is 11 a.m. to 12 a.m., Sunday through Saturday. And we'd like to have like 4 tables with 8 sittings under the New York City open restaurant programs. And there will be background musics, no loud music. That's all I have.
Okay. So a couple things.
Yeah.
So first of all, to the committee, this was previously licensed, and the prior place actually was open an hour later till 1 a.m. I have a question about the capacity though, because the prior operator had a lot more seats. They had 25 tables and 40 seats. You really only want 4 tables and 8 seats inside and 2 seats at the bar? That's all you want?
I like to have more sittings. We have a space for it, but the current COO, the maximum occupancy is only 10.
Ah, okay. So
And
maybe
that's
the other place never had that many seats, but when they came to us, that's what they asked for.
And then, you know, we're trying to change the maximum capacity to a higher number.
Okay. Well, if you do that, you're going to have to come back to us for an alteration, you know, okay?
I got you.
Okay. Now, the other thing, as you might have heard me say, the SLA changed the rules in July. And if you want to do open restaurants, you actually have to give us a separate 30-day notice.
Okay.
Which I guess, Nellie, they didn't do, right?
I didn't do it. And
No.
So did you say you do want to do open restaurants?
yes, we need more spaces, more sittings to keep up the business up.
Okay.
But how can I notify you? Do I have to use the same form or just write a letter to you?
No, there's a separate form on the SLA website. If right on the first page of the SLA website, there's a block that says something like revised rules for open restaurants. And if you click on there, there's a link to the 30-day notice form you have to fill out and submit.
Okay, I'll send it out the first thing in the morning tomorrow.
Right, and we'll need a sort of, it can be hand drawn, but we'll need a floor plan about where your open restaurant's going to go. Is it in the sidewalk, in the street? How many tables is it going to be? That sort of thing.
Okay.
Okay. So when we get that, we'll take a look at it and let you know whether we can just sort of do it based on what you submitted, or if we need you to sort of come back to the committee, which I hope won't be the case.
I got you. All right.
Okay. And I see that the 47 53rd Street Block Alliance asked you to come to their meeting on September 22. Are you going to do that?
Yes, I think we're gonna do it on a Zoom meeting.
Okay, yeah, they probably will. But
Yeah, we did.
whatever format, you'll be there either in Zoom or in person, right?
That's right, but I didn't get that information yet.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
And you should also inform them about the open restaurant that you're potentially doing.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you well.
I think you should also inform them about your open restaurant plans.
I got you. All right.
Okay, Bert, that's all I got.
That's any committee people have questions, comments?
I have my hand raised.
Okay, Twee and then Christine.
On page 13 of 21, there's a letter to the New York Business Consulting Company addressed to Kathleen, saying that there will be about 10 seatings and 5 standings by a bar. But that doesn't seem to make sense with the map and what we were just discussing about the occupancy.
Yeah, actually, that was my mistake. But I tried to limit the sittings by 10. You can get rid of the people standing, because people also standing and eat food along the tables. That's what I was talking about.
Yeah, I'm sorry to have to tell you this though, but your C of O is not just your customers, it's people in the building. So it includes your staff.
Right.
So if you have one person working there, you can only have 9 customers.
I see. Okay.
Yeah. Christine, and I saw Tina had her hand up as well.
Yeah, also on page 1, you say outside. If you want to have an open restaurant outside, just give us a sense of how many table and chairs that would be.
It is not a big space. I could have put like 4 tables with 2 sittings of each, maximum 8.
Okay.
And also right next to it is it's a public. I think it's Columbus Library, which has some kind of extensions to the street. So anyway, people cannot walk that extension, building something out. So we are going to stay inside of that limit. So I don't think I don't think it's going to interfere any pedestrians.
So and on page building design, which is page 4, you didn't say whether you have French doors, garage door. What kind of doors and windows do you have?
Mr. Choi, can you answer that?
Yeah, there's a 2 entrance to the dining area and to the bar area. It's just a regular size door.
Okay.
You don't have any French doors or no windows, just regular doors?
No, we have like a storefront, big the windows. Basically the location is set up in a way that it's on the storefront, and then the middle is the entrance to the apartment buildings up.
Yeah.
And they split out to the side, and then so there's 2 separate entrances, but there are windows. The big, I guess, storefront big windows, not like a small windows.
Can they be opened? Can they be opened?
No, they cannot. And then it's protected by the gates. I guess they put in the gate for both.
All right. So Christine actually answered correctly because they don't have any of them.
Right. That's all I have. Thank you.
It's on page 12 of 21.
Yeah, I didn't go that far, Tui. You are the expert at going all the way.
Oh, never mind.
Oh, I see how it works. Yeah, got it.
Tina?
Yeah, I just have a quick question. One has to do with, do you plan on changes to the existing facade? One of the questions isn't answered on page 4 of 9, but I was more curious about one other thing. In the letter, it says we will be open to local people from the neighborhood for hiring. Yet in the questionnaire, I was just curious why they answered no to the question, will applicant inform the community board office of its job openings and or provide a hyperlink to
Oh, you think
applicant?
there's a contradiction there?
Yeah.
What is that?
You think there's a contradiction?
Well, I would just like them to.
I think Bert was being sardonic.
That's all. Yeah. So was that meant as a no, or did you mean that as a yes?
Yeah. So at the bottom of page 3 of the STIP form, the last question to the applicant.
So I guess the question bottom line is, are you going to, communicate to community board whether you have positions or not?
We're going to have positions and then we're going to hire from the local people, but coming office job opening.
The reason we have that question about the community board also lets, if there are openings in establishments that inform us, we let that be known. That's another way to get the word out that you're hiring.
All right, I didn't understand what the question was.
This
Maybe
is like free advertisement.
So
Yeah.
can we change that answer to yes?
Yeah, just change it to yes, please.
Okay. And Tina, on your other question, that's actually a duplicate question on that page. They answered it once saying no, there won't be any changes. So we have their answer. We're working to revise the form and get rid of the duplication.
Okay, so do we hear a resolution?
Oh wait, anyone from the
community?
No, no one with their hands raised.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
And Nellie, I see Al Firestein's there as an attendee. He must be here in some applications, so you can move him over when you have a chance. Okay, Rob?
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
And the motion is?
Okay, yeah, so just so we're clear, the motion is the STIP form with, that one change to the question, and also assuming that the open restaurants floor plan is sort of as they've described it, just a couple tables fitting into the nearby footprint. We will let this application cover the open restaurant seating as well and not make them come back.
Okay.
Don't we have to worry about the C of O? Because you mentioned about staff.
Well, no, he knows he can only have 10 people there, whether it's staff or customers.
They have to worry about their C of O.
Yeah. I was just pointing out to him
They don't
that
have to worry about their staffing.
I was just pointing out to him he can't have, all those people there at once.
Right.
In other words, he can have 8 seats or 10 seats or 20 seats for that matter, but he can only have 10 living bodies in there at any one time.
Okay.
That includes patrons and staff.
Okay, got it.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Twice, Carrie. All those opposed? Abstaining? Present, not eligible? Okay.
Okay, so to the applicant, you just need to get us this 30-day notice for open restaurants and a floor plan of what you want to do as soon as you can, but no later than September 27th. Okay?
I got you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Number 3 on our agenda is 402 West 44th Street. It's Ari Sushi Inc. It's 7 days a week, 11 to midnight. Applicant here, lawyer. You see them?
I saw James Wang on here before.
Oh, there he is.
Oh, there he is. You're muted though, James.
Yes, yeah. Do you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Yeah, okay, sorry.
Go right ahead.
Okay, so the that one will be for the sushi restaurant. The hour will be 11 to 12, 7 days a week. This only like a 20 seat, and the small restaurant they just open, and they do have the experience for the before they located in 31st Street. So I did submit the application. So any question, I'm here, I can answer, and my client is here too.
So this is on my block. I'm sitting about 100 yards from it. It's been previously licensed multiple times, but actually in a broader way. The prior places had full liquor and were licensed at least till 1, some later. So this is a cutback in several respects. They've been open a few weeks, not serving alcohol. No one's noticed any problems around here, and there've been very good reports about their food. So, you know, I'm in support of it. I checked with the 44th Street Block Association, and they don't have any issues with this. And I have no comments on the STIP form.
Any other committee members want to make a comment? Okay, anybody from the community here, Nellie?
No one.
I'd like to make a motion.
Second.
And I'll ask that question again. What's the motion? I'd like to know what I'm voting on.
Yeah, recommend approval with the STIPs. No changes.
Okay. Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Okay, thank you. Okay, we're moving on.
He's not leaving though. He's got a second one right now, in fact.
Okay, we're moving on to our next section, which is the full liquor license, liquor, wine, beer, and cider. We know that 4 is postponed till next month, October. So we're at 5, 153 8th Avenue. That's between 17th and 18th Street. Mad for Chicken, Chelsea. 7 days a week, 11 to 2. Owner, applicant?
Yeah, it's me again.
James, again,
James.
okay. Go ahead, James.
Yeah, how are you? Okay, so yeah, that one my client want to call in. They said I'm already signed in. He cannot sign in. So yeah, I'm here. So this one will be for the chicken place. I did notify to the Black Association, so they have no objection, and I send the application to the your board. So I'm here to answer any questions if you have.
Okay, I have a couple questions, James. You
Yes.
didn't circle any kind of music. Are you going to have any music or background music or anything?
Oh yeah, background music. Maybe maybe I make a mistake. Yeah, should be.
Okay.
Background.
And then part of this is our problem. On page 4, we asked the questions twice about whether you plan any changes to the existing facade. And once you answered no, and once you answered yes.
No,
So are you changing the facade?
Okay, let me see the page 4. Page 4.
Yeah.
Is not change. So this place have the liquor license before. Is not change. Yeah.
So you're not changing the facade. Okay, so I'm going to make both answers to that question no.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I have, Bert.
What about the doors?
Ask the question.
I'm sorry, the clarification, the French doors, garage doors.
They don't have French doors. Sorry, yeah, they don't have French doors. Yeah.
They do or don't?
They don't. They don't. I've been there. Yeah, I do. Yeah, no, they don't have French doors, and the window not open. They cannot open in front. No.
Okay.
Okay.
Anybody from the community?
No.
Okay.
Okay.
Resolution? Do I
Yeah,
hear?
resolution to approve per the stipulation.
Right, with 2 changes, adding background music and making
Yeah.
clear there are no changes to the existing facade.
Okay. Any second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you again, James.
Good night. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now we're moving over to 10th Avenue. Couple of blocks south, 88 10th Avenue between 15th and 16th Street. S.E. Doe.
Everybody, thank you, Bert.
Donald, hello.
Hi. This is a new application. Stephen, yes, I see Stephen is here. My client is here. This space between 15th and 16th was the former Morimoto space.
Yeah.
So it has been licensed for quite a number of years. We're essentially keeping the same footprint. It's a large space. There's a ground floor and cellar level. The maximum occupancy is 300. There's a capacity for 175 in the ground floor, 125 in the cellar. And again, this is just what Morimoto had. The hours will be 12 p.m. until 2 a.m. nightly. Stephen, who is my client who is here, is a principal of the Scotch and Bacon Group. He could tell you a little bit about their experience and history. They have a number of different brands and a number of different restaurants. This is their first restaurant that will be in New York. The only correction, we do have to make one correction to the questionnaire, which should have come in. I think Martha sent it in, but just to be sure, we had checked that we will abide by New York nightlife guidelines, but this is not a venue that would require security guards. So that should be checked no.
So the question, will the New York nightlife best practices be followed? That's the question.
Yeah, that should be no, because that requires 1 security guard per 75, and it's not that kind of a nightlife venue.
Okay, so we'll change that to no.
Yeah, thank you. And Stephen, why don't you introduce yourself and tell them a little bit about what you're going to do.
Hi, everybody. Got a bit of a cold at the moment and a bit of an accent, so I hope you can all understand me okay. Basically, the group I work with, it's a small group. It's myself. I deal mainly with the front of house. I've been in the restaurant industry my whole life. I do business development also. My business partner, Chef Michael Lewis, has worked with everyone. He's worked with a lot of great chefs from Eric Rupard, Daniel Ballou, Jean-Georges for about 7 or 8 years. I worked with him in a global restaurant group called Zuma for about 8 years. Opened up a big restaurant up in New York City. We have a third member of the group, Lizzie, who looks after all of our sort of branding. She also deals with community engagement, environmental issues, sustainability, all the things that we find very, very important and dear to our hearts. We've already engaged in some of the local groups where we're trying to get woven into that little fabric of the community, as we like to do with our restaurants, because I think it's one of the most important things about bringing a restaurant into a town or a community is getting involved. We've got restaurants currently in Miami, Mexico City, Montreal, and Asheville, North Carolina. Couple of them we're James Beard nominated in a couple of places, best restaurant and 100 best restaurants in America, and a couple of places. And even though I'm giving you all these facts, we're a very humble group, I promise. We're very excited to come to New York. I met my fiance there. I'm going to be, as soon as you guys give us the go ahead, I'm moving back to the city. So we're really excited to launch this new brand. It's something we've been working on for a couple of years. It's an Asian full service restaurant. We've got a wonderful designer who's doing a beautiful design. We're going to have a great beverage program, but the star of the show, it really is the food. We take our food very seriously. We're all about building regulars, building locals, engaging the local community, but really, really just being proud of what we're offering and how we do it. The upstairs dining room, the Morimoto space was beautiful. I've been several times. I really love that restaurant. We're really not going to change too much, just decor wise. Downstairs would just be an extension of the restaurant with a bar. Yeah, it did have a name, but then we did a trademark search and we realized everybody else had that name, so we're trying to find a new one. Other
Okay.
than that, we are ready to go.
Yeah, I just have one question for
Certainly.
either you, Stephen, or Donald, but I think you may have answered that. There's a question on page 2 of our forum that asks how frequently will the owner be at the establishment? And you said daily. The answer that you gave was daily, and I was wondering how you were going to do that with your role at the other establishments. But it sounds like you're moving here and basically going to be here on a daily basis.
Yeah, this is literally the most important restaurant opening that we'll have done. New York City is a very big deal to us, so I'll be moving there, moving nearby, and I get a little. I love my job, so I am there daily. So yeah, I'll be there.
All right, thanks, Bert. That's all I have.
See, from the committee so far, Rob has your hand up.
Yeah, quick question. I see that you've got 2 bars with a total of 22 seats. Is that 11 seats per bar?
The downstairs bar, we're not going to change too much. I believe it's 18 seats were there, so we're just going to leave them there. The upstairs section, it was a service bar. We're just opening it up slightly because we won't open the downstairs at lunchtime. We'll just be probably at the beginning anyway. We'll just have a little holding bar for the upstairs space.
I think the
So just for
floor
clarification,
plan is showing
stairs
6
and
seats.
stairs.
Yeah, showing 6 seats in the bar upstairs, 6 stools.
So that would be a total of 24, not 22.
No, 16 downstairs.
I thought they said it was 18 downstairs.
That's my mistake. Sorry, 16.
Yeah, the floor plan shows 16 downstairs, 6 upstairs.
Okay, all good. I just wanted clarification. Thank you.
Christine.
Clarification as well is on page 4, you are not circling what type of doors you have. I'm not familiar with the establishment, so what is it?
The front doors are, I believe, the French doors, glass sliding doors. You go through one set into a small sort of area, and then you go through another set.
So there is kind of a vestibule in a sense. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, back set off the street, yes.
Right, okay. And then you said not applicable to 2 questions, which say, will you close all windows and doors when there is amplified music inside?
There aren't any windows, actually. It's quite a small space. The doors close automatically. And by amplified, do you mean like we're only really having background music, which would be on?
But Christine, there's nothing that can open besides the doors, which you said, at least with Morimoto, they were automatic doors, and there was also there was a double set of doors as a vestibule.
Just wanted the clarification. I got it.
No windows at all.
No.
Okay.
Okay. Any additional questions from committee people? Anybody from the community? Nellie?
No one.
Like to make a motion?
And that
Okay,
motion
the
is?
only change was that they are not following the New York Nightlife Association best practices because they do not consider themselves a nightlife venue.
Right. No lineup on the street or anything like that.
Second with those tips.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Present not eligible? Abstaining? Okay.
Thanks, everyone.
Good
Thanks,
luck.
everyone. I hope you
night.
come for dinner.
Good luck.
Looking forward to it.
Okay, moving to 505 West 37th Street. This is a catering space, Scusi Events.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, can you hear us?
Yes, we can.
Right.
So Stacy, our lawyer, is present. I don't know if she wants to start.
Nellie, do you see her?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Hello, yes, you can hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, good. All right, hi, how you doing? I'm representing Scusi Events. It's going to be a catering license at that location at 505 West 37th Street and 10th Avenue. It used to be well, it has been licensed for several years. I think Clyde Frazier's restaurant was there for several years. And it's now going to become a catering hall. My clients have been involved in catering for several years. And I'm going to have Stella take over and explain exactly what they're going to be doing there. And she's going to talk about the hours and everything, and exactly how they're going to handle the specific location. So Stella, you want to talk about how you're going to do this? And what you're going to do there?
So thanks for having us. We've been in business since 1996, so we've been around a long time. We're certified green as a company as well because we care about the environment. Our business is mainly corporate business, so we don't have any wild parties or anything like that. Our parties are either daytime meetings, small conferences, cocktail parties, and small dinners. So, you know, we have the capacity to do larger events, but so we're just preparing for the future. We do a lot of off-premise events as well, and our commissary is going to be in the space. We're familiar with this space because it used to be a venue that was rented out for parties, and we used to rent it quite a bit when it was being rented for private parties. So we're very familiar with the space. And so that's what we're doing. So they're a corporate party. So there's nothing crazy. They're not late nights, and there's no, you know, naked dancing anywhere. So that's what we have.
So just to clarify one thing, because this confuses me, but I think I now understand it. The prior license there was a prior license at this address, but as Stacy said, it's Clyde Frazier's, and I believe Clyde Frazier's is on 10th Avenue, not where you're going. Right? Were there two Clyde Frazier's?
Yeah, yes. He had a location there too. He had a license there too.
Okay.
Yeah, he had with other people. Two other people were there at that location. He had a license in conjunction with two others. I don't think it was called Clyde Frazier's, but he had a license there with two other people.
Okay. Yeah, Bert and I did a site visit because unlike the prior licensed establishment was all indoors. This one has an adjacent patio on private property.
Correct.
Which is sort of at the base of a big apartment building. So there are, as far as we could tell, you know, residential apartments basically starting one floor up from the patio, overlooking the patio.
Right. I believe that they're going to have small type of get-togethers, and I think they're going to. Stella, how are you going to handle those parties or the events outside there?
Definitely. Just in the summertime, there would be events, maybe small cocktail parties outside.
What hours?
No music outside.
Right. No music. And then what hours are you thinking about doing?
So the hours that are on the application are not our typical business hours. I mean, we're there because of the kitchen. We would probably be there.
No, I'm talking about the hours outside in that area.
Hours in the latest I think it would be 9 p.m. if that. Again, they're corporate. The parties are 5 to 7, 6 to 8 p.m. They'll give us an hour for whatever cleanup we would need, but the parties aren't late, and they're usually Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. Again, being corporate, no one really does it on a Monday or Friday. They don't do it on the weekend.
Okay.
So.
Would you stipulate then that the outdoor space will be closed and vacated to patrons by 9 p.m. every night?
Yeah.
Can we have yes, we could now, but can we have the opportunity to revisit it in a couple years if the business grows?
Yeah, you can revisit, you can revisit anything, but I think 9 p.m. would make people more comfortable.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the residences are pretty close by.
Yes, we're totally fine.
We
with
understand that.
We don't think it affect our business at all. Again, they're
And Stacy,
and the 9 o'clock on the patio doesn't mean you can't continue the party inside.
Right.
Perfect.
Frankie, you saying something to me?
Yeah, on the STIP form, page 5, outdoor items other than sidewalk cafe, you answered all the questions, but the second question, when asked, are you going to use any outdoor space? You said no. I assume you mean to be yes, right?
Yeah, it would be yes. I'm sorry if I misread that.
Okay.
I apologize for that.
Yeah, and just to make sure we're on the same page with the applicant.
Yep.
So there's going to be no music outside at all, right?
No, no music outside. No,
Okay,
definitely not.
and you're going to keep, whenever you have music inside, you'll keep the doors and the windows leading outside closed, right?
You're correct.
Okay. All right. And then you also said you would, outside would only be by, everyone would be seated. Is that right?
Yes.
Go ahead, you answer that. You know better than I do what you're gonna do.
They have to be seated and we have to stipulate it. Yes. I mean, if they could stand up and walk around, it's an enclosed private space. No one can come in and state it. So they would enter in our main facility and go to the outside area still within our main facility. So if they could mingle standing up, we would prefer that. If they have to be seated, then they have to be seated.
Can I just ask my client a quick question? Are you allowed to put up any kind of a tent or anything, or you can't do that? I don't know the answer to that. That's why I'm asking you, Stella. Can you put up a tent?
We haven't asked that question yet. We're really not planning on doing winter parties there. We're just
Not in the winter, but I mean, I don't mean an enclosed tent. I mean like a just a covering with just like rods on the side and just a covering in case it rains or something.
Yes, we're allowed to put anything outside that's not permanent.
Right. So, Frank, if they put something like that up, which would mitigate the sound also?
No, you would not mitigate the sound, Stacy.
The tent is open on all sides.
Right.
Well, I mean, I'm not talking about, I'm talking about still a 9 o'clock closing or a 9 o'clock closing. If people wanted to stand a little bit and mingled a little
Stacey,
bit.
I was going to say, we can talk about that and see how the committee feels with the 9 p.m. closing. I think that, you know what we're trying to avoid. We're trying to avoid, endless people crammed in here. But if you gave us a specific capacity limit out there,
I think we did. I think we gave you a capacity on that. On the outside.
50 to 75 TBD.
Okay. Well, that would be, I mean, maximum would be 75. Obviously, it wouldn't be more than that. I think they have to find out what the numbers are, but it wouldn't be more than that. And I don't know what what their parties, how much, the numbers of their parties, but that would be a maximum amount.
Okay, so we can add a stip that there'll be no more than 75 people, in the outdoor space, right?
Are you okay with that, Stella?
Yes, absolutely.
Yes.
So they're okay with that number.
But we're still not resolved on the standing
Yes.
and mingling.
Right. I understand that. I mean, because if you start, restricting people that they can't move around, that's kind of difficult. You know what I mean? I mean, somebody can't get up and go talk to the guy or the woman.
I guess my view with the, given that it's a, so I think the committees, we've dealt with catering before, but just remind everyone, because this is a catering license, they can only have private events there. People can't, walk in from the street and say, I want to get a drink or I want to have dinner.
Right, exactly.
It's all by invitation only. So given that the type of events are going to be sort of private events where sort of people know each other often, and the 9 p.m. close out there, I guess I would be okay with standing. So remember, it's going to be vacated by 9 p.m., no more than 75 people.
I mean, it wouldn't be just a standing thing. They'd have seats, but allow the people at least to get up and go mingle a little bit,
Right.
So that's what we're asking for,
All
right?
so let's hear what other people think.
There were also, I saw there were 2 hands up. Now, were those hands from the community, Nellie, or from members of the committee?
Well, Rob Walker has his hand up. Oh, a lot of people have their hands up now. There's committee members with hands up and 1 person from the public.
Okay, so let's do committee members first.
And Nellie, you can move the public member over now.
Okay, so Rob, you want to say something? And who else from the committee wants to say something? Let's create an order here.
Well, Tina and Ted
Oh, I see the hands. Yeah, yeah.
Carrie
Okay, I
and
see- I see.
Wendy and me.
I don't see Wendy. Well, she's not here. Okay, I see Ted, I see Christine, I see Wendy, and I don't see, but I know you
Tina.
want to speak, Rob.
Tina?
Carrie too.
And Tina, Carrie. Okay, let's do it if we can remember that order.
Okay, I just want to bring up a point here. This is a residential. Granted, it has had a liquor license in the past, but we're now possibly moving forward with allowing a liquor license for outside. Love the company, love Stella, everything that she does, great company, but I just have a reservation with us moving forward with the outside. Because we move outside and Stella company is going to grow and get bigger, eventually she may move out of there and we're going to have another bar move in there and go, well, they were liquor licensed, why can't we have one? And they're going to be a true bar. So I think we're setting a bad precedent. I agree with everything inside, my personal opinion. I just say no to the outside. That's it. But everything else on the inside, 200%.
Okay. Ted, Christine,
I just
Wendy.
wanted to ask the applicant something along those lines. When we did the site visit, we asked you to try to get notices to up in the building. Were you able to do that?
Yes.
Yes, notices are everywhere. The landlord will not allow a restaurant in there
Or a bar.
or a bar or anything
Or a
open to
club
the
or
public.
anything, none of them.
We put that down and
That's a
request.
different answer. Let's just keep.
Yeah, but you did get a notice. They posted it somewhere in the building on the
Yes,
bulletin
both.
board or something. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, this is a catering license, so that's a big difference between a
Oh,
bar
we
and a
know,
restaurant.
this is
We're
not.
aware of that. Thank you, Stacy. Let's
Sorry.
go. Ted, Christine, Wendy, and then let's go after. Okay.
Muted,
Ted, you're
Ted.
muted.
Hey, I had a question about the outside because we had mentioned no amplified music, but I know a lot of times for these events, people come out with their microphones to make announcements or speeches for business. I was wondering if there would be microphone usage outside.
No, if it's not allowed, it doesn't have to be at all.
Okay. The other question I have is probably for Frank and the board. Would open restaurants allow them to use this outdoor space if we denied the outdoor usage or approved?
That is a good question.
But it's on private property.
Yeah, Christine, open restaurants, no, I think, no, unless the rules have changed, I believe they still, on private property, they still had to go through the community board.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. This is
Restaurants
not,
have nothing to do with
this is
private
not sidewalk or street usage.
Right.
Yeah, that would be, I'm not the lawyer here, but that would be my sense. Okay, Christine?
Just to the applicant, will you agree to a stip that there'll be no amplified sound of any kind in the outdoor space?
Absolutely. And in a couple of years, if something changes, I guess we can come back and revisit it. But for right now, it's not in our business plan to have.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks. Christine?
Yeah, I'm deeply concerned about the outside. I think the last one didn't have the outside because we told them they could not. They wanted to have the outside. I think this is like in all the residents are all around, and 75 people drinking and talking is very loud, and I would rather not cross that line.
Okay, Wendy?
9 p.m.
I was just going to add that especially given that they've notified the building and there hasn't been objection, that I'd be comfortable with the outside, but particularly and only because it's a catering license and because there's the limited hours.
Okay, thank you. Carrie?
Actually, we have a little emergency construction happening. I have a question about the inside. You have DJ and live music until 12 a.m., I think. And have you done a sound study to make sure that music is not going to go like up through the building to the first, second floors?
Well, that has been an event space for years, and their cutoff time was midnight. And that was a time when we used to previously rent that space that it was cut off. We can also stipulate to earlier hours again, because we're just looking at the future with those hours. our business again is not that late, and it really is during the week. So I mean, if we were to stipulate to earlier hours for the PM, that's totally fine as well. Again, our main core business is corporate, and they're in and out. You know, they're quick parties.
Okay, so can you give us an hour you're comfortable with to end the live music and DJ?
Yeah, they could have the parties and they could actually end the music early, you know.
Yeah,
if
so
that's no problem.
what time can we put in a stipulation? 10 o'clock?
10 o'clock would be fine. And again, we can revisit this in a couple years if things change. So
Yep.
yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. There are additional committee members who want to say something?
Tara.
Tina.
Tina?
Okay, yes.
Oh, sorry, Tina.
I'm sorry, was I called on?
No, I heard your name, but I don't see a hand raised, but I saw Tara's hand raised.
Okay.
Her hand, Tina's hand is raised.
Okay.
It's just blending in.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. It says what you have a white background, Tina.
Oh, sorry.
The yellow sort of vanishes into the white. Go ahead, Tina. Sorry.
Okay, quick question. The inside capacity is 243, outside capacity, let's say, is 75. Yet the number of service-only bars, the percentage, I'm just a bit thrown. If we're trying to keep more people inside, it appears, I don't understand why there are 2 bars outside and 3 bars inside. Doesn't the 2 bars outside sort of encourage people to go outside?
We are totally fine doing that. Our COO is certificate occupancy is total 243. So that's included in that number. So it would be 243 minus the 75. So that is the entire space. So we weren't sure how to put that on the application. So our occupancy is, we can get it calculated, 243.
Well, you know, it's not that they're gonna have a party where people are gonna be inside and outside. It's like, they're more like it's going to be an inside party or an outside party, right, Gisela? You're not going to have people mingling inside and outside too much, right? I mean, because in the wintertime, people are just going to be inside. So it's not people going to be going back and forth, right? Between inside and outside? Or do I have that wrong?
No outside at all.
There probably won't be outside in the wintertime. We may not service outside. We don't plan on having for the weather or anything like that. They're service bars, they're more service bars because our drinks are more butlered than people walking up to a bar. So that's for the service bar. We have a bar there to have it, but mostly the waiters pass everything. So it's not a free for all at the bar.
Right, the service bars, right.
To follow up on Tina's question though, on what looks like the floor plan of the outdoor space, you seem to only have 1 service bar, but on the forum you say you're going to have 2.
Oh yeah, because we changed. Sorry about that, because we decided that later on after the floor plan was done. We decided on 2 service bars on the outside instead of one, and because that was decided later on. Like she said, because they do butler service a lot, and they're not stand-up bars. Customers aren't going to go. People are obviously not going to go up there because it's a catering place. So you're going to have people. The servers are going to be the ones making the drinks and serving the customers. Well, I shouldn't say customers, the invitees. So going to be 2 service bars, probably 1 on each end of the outside area. Is that right, Stella? Pretty much.
And that's just for quicker service because it would probably be 1 bartender at each one, and they're going around making trays of drinks. So the trays, the person would have to make like 8 drinks at a time to put on a tray. So it's mainly for speed of service, not for number of guests.
Okay.
Right. When you say service bars, it's just a little area set aside with the drinks.
Just so the things are consistent, could you send us a revised floor plan of the outdoor where you put in these 2 service
no problem.
bars?
I'll email that to you later on tonight. Yes.
Yeah. Just by September 27.
Yeah. Yep. I'll make a note of that to amend the diagram. Sorry about that. That was an oversight on my part. Sorry. So I'll amend the diagram. No problem.
Okay, if there are no other committee members who want to.
No, Tara has her hand up.
Where? Did I see her?
Tara.
Tara is
Tara's
the
not a
community
committee
member.
member. She's not a committee
Oh,
member.
I'm sorry.
Okay, so that's what I like to go now to community members.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can.
Great. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Tara Herman. I am actually a resident of 505 West 37th Street, where the application is for. I've also been a resident of Hell's Kitchen overall for 15 years, and I am attending this meeting to express concerns on behalf of the residential tenants of this building. The notice, from what I could see, says it's one of, if you just heard, it's a full liquor, wine, beer, and cider application for a catering establishment with a DJ, recorded music, live music, catered event music, dancing, security personnel, and garden grounds. This is a residential building comprised of 2 towers. The pictures in the application don't show it, but there are approximately 835 apartments in those towers, the majority of which look down onto and directly face these gardens and grounds where this would be. We are a diverse building. We have families with young children, we have senior citizens, and we have working professionals who need to get a good night's sleep. We did not move in expecting to be living above a music-filled event venue with outside partying and amplified music and events. The sound carries quite well from the ground all the way up to the apartments. And the area, although it's technically Hudson Yards, Hell's Kitchen, it's not commercial or industrial anymore. In addition to our building, which has been here for over a decade, there's also a building at 515 West 38th Street, with 226 residential units, and at 515 West 36th Street with 251 units respectively that also face this space. And so I don't believe that we had sufficient notice. There was nothing in the building that I saw. I only found out about this when I happened to walk by the adjacent space. I was glad that I saw this, but I don't think a lot of people realize it. The application, despite what the applicants say that anyone can book the catering space until midnight, not just corporate parties ending at 5 or 6 on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So I imagine that they're probably going to grow to weddings, to bat mitzvahs, and I don't think these proposed stipulations in the application are sufficient. Yes, you might close the outdoor space earlier, but the doors are going to open. Drunk people are going to spill out after midnight, or they're going to go out on the patio to talk and smoke right below where we're sleeping. And then you're going to have the late night cleanup and the early morning deliveries. And so, although I feel very funny doing this, I am very concerned, and I actually would request that the application be denied, or in the alternative, much stricter steps, maybe that it all ends at 10 p.m. because this space is right on top of a heavily residential areas, it's right on top of it. So thank you.
Tara, is your building, is it a rental building or condo or co-op?
Rental.
Okay. Is there any kind of tenants association or anything? I mean, is there, in a lot of buildings where there's either a co-op board or a tenants association, we ask the applicant to meet, with the tenants and try to sort of hear the concerns and iron things out. Is there anything like that in your building? Do you know?
No. The only thing that there is somebody recently started an app, like a bulletin board app for residents. And so some of the residents are on it. I sent a notice in about this, and I got a lot of private messages saying, hey, I'm concerned. Hey, I'm concerned. And so that's why I said I would come to this.
Okay. And I gather, it sounds like your concerns are chiefly about the outdoor space, but you also have concerns about what's happening indoors and how noise might spill over when people enter and exit.
I do, because look, I've been living in New York City long enough to know that nothing gets contained entirely indoors, right? Foot traffic spills out, people congregate outside, especially when they're drunk. And also, I don't know how the sound is. There are some residential apartments right above this space, and I don't know how that sound is going to travel up even on the inside. And so while I am primarily concerned about the outdoor space, I do also have some concerns about the noise that will be generated by the indoor space.
Okay.
Is there anybody else from the community that has their hand raised, Nellie?
No, no one else.
I'd like to hear from the applicant.
Yes, we are more than happy to stipulate to earlier hours. We have no problem. We know our core business, and that wouldn't affect it if we were to do it earlier at all. Again, I didn't say 5 to 6 was our core business. I said, could start at 5. It could be, it's 6 to 8. We're more than happy to stipulate to that, honestly, because it really won't affect us at this time. Again, a couple of years.
Okay, 6 to 8. I just want to be clear, because Tara mentioned something about non-corporate events.
Yes, we don't do non-corporate events. So if she has a say, we don't do weddings. It's not our core business. We like quality of life, and we like having weekends off. My husband and I are always present, and always present at all of the events. So, that's just our strategy. Either he's there or I'm there or both of us are there. So for mitzvahs and weddings, again, that may
That's
be
why
something
we
2
don't do
years,
it.
3 years down the line that
We
we
don't
could
do it.
revisit. But right now we don't do that. In 26 years of business, we've worked 3 Sundays from 12 to 4 for a baby shower. And that was because someone inside one of the corporate companies had a baby or a bridal shower or something like that. It's not our core business.
Okay. So what closing time indoors would you be comfortable with?
For working in the kitchen, because we could be doing off-premise events. So working in the kitchen could go as late as 10 p.m., even though we haven't been there that late. I think just to have some leeway, 10 p.m. if possible.
Okay. And again, this would be talking about patrons, not,
Not staff.
not
Not staff.
Somebody can speed around cleaning up past 10 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll do 10 p.m. nightly. And
Well,
Tara,
Frank, you have to be careful, because this is not consistent with the way we are saying it to everybody else. So you need to be explicit about what is for the customer, what is for the back.
Oh, and our forms for above. Okay, yeah.
Generally,
no, our form
say,
says patrons. Our form is the hours are when it's closed and
oh.
dedicated to patrons.
Right,
That's what
okay.
the form says.
Ted, you had your hand up?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I just had a question. Was the previous space there have a DJ or the amplified music in the same way? Because maybe if they didn't, you would want to consider still doing the sound report, considering that it would be maybe louder music possibly.
Okay, so
they were a bar, correct? The previous tenant, right? They were on our premises.
The STIP said a DJ will be used only for private parties, and the applicant agreed to follow the recommendations of a acoustical report, which was attached. I don't know if we still have that, Nellie, but there was an acoustic report done back in 2011, and the applicant was allowed to use DJs. Whether they did or not, I don't know. And they were open until 1:30 a.m.
The other question that the resident brought up was a concern was the smoking. How would you mitigate the smoking area if you're not allowing people to use that? Or are you going to allow people, if we give you the outdoor area, to smoke in the outdoor area? Or if they are not, where our customer is going to be smoking, where's the designated smoking area if you're not using the outside?
We have no smoking policy, even at all of the events we've been doing for years. Either they go outside or, wherever they do go, but we have a no smoking policy inside or.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you can't really smoke inside any place in New York City or anywhere in New York State, but
They're not going to be able to smoke in the backyard. They can't smoke.
Where is the designated area that your customers are going to smoke if they do when they exit outside?
On the sidewalk, like everybody else, right?
Yeah, they have to go around the corner someplace, across the street. Who cares? In front of a commercial building.
There is a park there. They can go to the park.
Yeah, they can't use the backyard for smoking. It's not what that's for. And the front of the business isn't for it either. They have to go around the corner or something.
I have a question. I'm just thinking. Somebody, Frank, you said Frank, it was you or somebody said the previous space was a bar.
Yes, it was.
Oh, you said that, Stacy.
Yeah,
previous space
I did.
was a bar. So Tara, are you still around? And were you there when it was a bar? What was the relationship with the tenants in the building?
I'm moving
That's
her
my
back over.
question too, Bert. I was gonna ask you the same question.
I wanted to ask you also.
This place has been
Clearly
empty.
wasn't a catering space.
I'm so sorry. I can't speak to, thank you. There was a delay in promoting me to panelist to answer your question. I was not there when the prior space was occupied, so I can't speak to the relationship of the building to that space at the time. The Clyde Frazier's, the restaurant facing 10th Avenue, is still there, but they're very quiet. Their hours
Yeah, that's what we're referring to.
Yeah.
We're referring to this space.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I can't speak to it.
Okay. Did the applicant say you've done events in this space?
Yes, we have done events in this space.
And when were they?
Oh gosh, when was the last event?
2017.
No, maybe
16, 17.
seven. Oh
And
my God,
Jim
time
is there.
flies. Jim Grady used to be the person, and they had it. Then Arc Restaurants had it. When we did rent it, time flies. I don't remember the last one, maybe 7 years ago when we rented it, and their cutoff music time was midnight. So the guests would stay until 1, but the music had to be off at midnight when we rented.
So Tara, was that before your time as well on the building? Okay.
Yeah.
It was used as a catering hall for years and years and years before. And they did heavy events, weddings, bar mitzvahs, and things like that. And we would rent it for the corporate events that we have. So it was a long-standing establishment for catering.
So I say this is inconsistent information for me. I can't, because one ear is hearing there was a bar there, and another ear of mine is hearing that it was, and you're telling me you rented, it was a catering space. What was it?
Well, Bert, they could have been sequential because
See, that's right. It's
our letter about Clyde's was back in 2011. So it's conceivable Clyde's only lasted a couple of years, and then it became a catering space where people had to, the caterers had to have the license, not.
Well, Clyde's is still active, the license.
Well, then I share.
Oh,
Bert's-
no, the land, we're dealing with that with the landlord. That's not a problem at all. But Clyde's was active. You see, the thing is, that's not an issue at all because it's going to expire anyway very shortly. But what I'm saying is it's been recently active, in other words.
Well,
it's
but
not like it was active 10 years ago.
Yeah, then I share Bert's confusion. How was it both Clyde's and a catering space?
I have no idea how that could happen. I just know that it was recently active. So it's not like it was active 10 years ago. It was recently active.
But you see what I'm saying? If Clyde's has renewed their license from 2011 until today, I don't see.
Well, not until today. Not until today, until a year ago.
Okay, but then I don't see how there were private events there in,
Well, I don't think they were there 10 years ago. I think that they were there 3 years ago till a year ago, say. So in between, they were there 7 years ago.
Who's the they? When was Clyde's?
Clyde's had it say for 2 or 3 years in between.
Clyde's got approved by us. Just
in other words,
just listen.
Yeah.
Clyde's got approved.
I don't know that, Frank, I don't know that this is going to help us or not. I think we need to really focus on whether, 9 o'clock for the for closing inside. No, inside, and whether we want to open 9 o'clock, the outside. I think the outside, the situation outside is in the bullseye of our policies, which is it's right below a residential group. And to me, it's exactly why we wrote the policy about we shouldn't do an outside when it's when it's right below all these windows, all these residential windows. And I really think that's I don't think we have heard anything that would be such a difference and a specific description which would make that policy change. I mean, the real point here is that there are hundreds and hundreds of windows right above it. And what are those people going to do in the summer when there is 75 people who talk and drink are very loud? I mean, I have mentioned that there was a cross. I am on 37th Street. I'm not on 37th. I'm on the back of 38th Street, which is nearly one block away from a party space. And whenever there is, 10 people talking and drinking, I can hear them inside, even though I'm double windows.
Okay. Well,
it's just a fact of life. It's nothing against these people.
So let's take a straw poll. How many people on the committee would be in support of the use of the outdoor space? Okay. So it looks like about half. How many is that? 2, 4. Yeah, it looks like about half and half.
But sorry, Frank, just to clarify, though, we're talking about limiting the hours for the outdoor space, or are you
No,
talking?
we're talking,
just
we've already
unlimited?
agreed to limit the hours till 9 o'clock. Christine is saying that the very nature of where it's located and the residents around it means that the outdoor space shouldn't be used at all. So let's ask it another way. How many
We're
people?
also talking about limiting.
How many
no
people?
Hey, can we take a roll call on this?
No, because we can't take it. It's not an actual vote. How many people think would not support any use of the outdoor space? How many people are against the outdoor space, period?
Aye.
Okay.
May I say something, Frank?
Sure. Well, this is sort of going, so what?
Just wait a second. Just wait a second, Stella. Give it 1 second.
So it's what, three people?
Stella, wait a
opposed?
second.
Just raise your hands again. It was 3 people against it, Christine, Twee, and
Yeah.
Rob? Yeah. Wendy, are you raising your hand or no?
No.
Okay.
Tina had her hand raised. So it looks like 4.
Good. All right, the applicant want to say something?
Yes, we're happy to stipulate to 50 people instead of the 75, if that would help any for the noise. And I think I may be able to clarify the confusion before of if it were a catering hall or not. The people that we rented from in the past weren't caterers. It was an event space. They did not have a liquor license. We had to pull an off-premise license, and anyone that worked in that space had to do an off-premise license for that space. So that may be why it's not on your radar, that because it did not have a liquor license. So we always had to bring.
That sort of makes sense. We don't want to waste more time on this. Beyond Stacy's sense that this Clyde's place had a liquor license until a couple of years ago, but it doesn't sound like we'll ever.
It doesn't really matter. The fact
Forget
is
about that.
Right.
they just want to.
Let's focus on right
Yes,
now.
yes.
Okay.
Let's focus
So-
on that now.
So
Let's focus on what we have now.
I think we're ready to vote, right? If I summarize this?
Summarize,
Sure.
please, Frank.
Okay, all right. So the indoor space will be closed and vacated to patrons no later than 9 p.m. nightly.
Wait,
Um,
can I
10
ask a
p.m.,
question?
sorry, 10 p.m.
You
10
said
p.m.
10 to the indoor space.
10 p.m., yes.
Yes.
And then additional steps, all outdoor space will be closed and vacated to patrons no later than 9 p.m. nightly.
Right.
No smoking permitted in outdoor space.
Right.
There'll be no more than 50 people in outdoor space. There'll be no amplified sound of any kind in outdoor space, and any live music and DJ inside will cease no later than 10 p.m., which is now when they're closing anyway. So I guess we don't need that one anymore.
Right.
Okay.
Do I hear
Okay,
a
Stella?
resolution?
Fine with all of that.
Fine, whatever you.
Okay, I'd like to move on till I hear a resolution.
Anyone want to make a motion consistent with those?
Wendy?
I'm confused.
I'm
So,
Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. I'm confused. So no mention of outdoor space stuff? That's just a curiosity?
Wait, Tweet, he just mentioned all the
You
outdoor
mentioned it.
stipulations.
This is with
All the
outdoor space.
stipulations Frank went through have to do with the use of the outdoor space.
The
No
motion now is
amplification.
to approve it with the outdoor space, closing at 9, no more than 50 people, no amplified sound. So
And
if
no
you vote
smoking.
yes,
No
you will be,
smoking.
and no smoking. You'll be recommending approval with the outdoor space with all those limitations.
That's the resolution that's before us.
Someone
All
makes
right, so I move that we approve this application with those stipulations as just stated by Frank.
Is there a second?
I second that.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
your hands up.
Keep your hands up, please.
Rob?
I'm a no on it.
Okay.
Okay.
Those opposed?
Aye.
Abstaining? Present, not eligible.
Okay, so what was that, Nellie? 7-4?
No, 7-5.
7-5, okay.
7 in favor,
Yes.
5 opposed.
Okay, so the applicant, you're okay with all those stipulations I read, correct?
Yeah, they're
Okay.
fine.
And Stacy, the other thing we need is the revised outdoor floor plan.
Yep,
Now,
I
this
have
was,
that right.
this was a pretty close vote.
Right.
So it likely will be discussed at full board. So I'd urge you to come, particularly since it's going to be virtual.
Yep. When?
The first, October 6th.
October 6th? Okay.
Yeah. And Stacy, if you or your client want to speak in the public session, you know, they're not required, but they can speak
Right.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay.
2 minutes each.
Okay. No problem. You send us an invite or whatever, Nellie?
You won't get an invite. You can just go to the website and there are,
Okay.
right, there are instructions on how to join as a member of the public.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
It's not like, it's not, full board is different. The
Okay.
public is all in the public and moved in only during the public session.
Okay, no problem.
Something here?
Yeah,
October 6th.
I just,
Okay.
I don't know if it's too late to say this, but I would maybe recommend, if it's appropriate, that you maybe post again inside the building so that members who live, you know, people, residents of the building are able to come to the full board meeting if they want to and speak.
Yeah, Nellie, can you get Stacy some signs about the full board meeting and have the applicant put them up?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, we'll take care of that. No
Right.
problem.
Okay.
And to the applicant, to the extent, you know, you can get support from residents of the building, it would help.
Petitions or something like that would be.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go overboard, but, you know, particularly like the people right above, I mean, I try to figure out, you know, really what the, you know, it's just a suggestion.
Yeah, okay, we'll take care of that. I'll do a petition.
Question, is the opposing portion for the outside, just out of curiosity?
Yeah, let's ask. So the 5 people who voted against this, would you recommend approval with only the indoor space closing at 10?
Yes.
Yes, most definitely.
So it's the outdoor space, that's the issue. So if there's any issues at the full board, taking away the outdoor space might put it over the top then?
I mean,
Why don't we wait until the full board?
Yeah.
And
Well, yeah,
listen to
you
what
gotta-
people have to say and the conversations, but
Right.
from the committee, you may get a sense of what the arguments will be one way or the other.
Okay.
I mean, I think if I would have gotten more outreach from people in favor from the building and there wasn't so much of, you know, people out, or 50 people, I still think is too much. If you're willing to reduce the number of patrons outside, I would be swayed to vote in favor of it at the full board meeting if you have the outreach and the numbers a little bit more reduced.
But
Okay,
is it-
that's good information. Thank you.
Okay, and I take it if the applicant were to abandon the outdoor space before full board, then this would be a universal recommendation of approval, correct?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So that's your choice, Stacy. You know, you can go in with split vote or decide not to use the outdoor space, and it would be, you know, it probably wouldn't even be discussed at full board.
Okay.
But it would be
All right.
unanimous recommendation. All
right,
right, thank
so-
you. And
Thank you.
yes,
Let's
we
move on to
appreciate
our
all
last
the-
item on the agenda.
Thank
And
you. I just wanted to
Thank you,
thank
guys.
the applicant for all the concessions
in
because
all
I think
innocence, but we had a short.
they
Thank
did
you.
limit things a lot. Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot.
Eight.
Call me, Stella, call me.
350 West 39th Street between 8th and 9th Avenue. This is a hotel, and we're really talking about the patio, the use of the patio with a roller cover.
Yes. Good evening, members. Great to see everyone again. My name is Maston Sansom, representing the applicant. I'm joined here by David Cantors. I believe should be accessible somewhere. I'm not sure if he needs to be let in, as well as Al Firestein, who is the sound consultant that conducted a sound study for the outdoors.
And Nellie just moved David in.
Okay. As Christine noted, astutely noted, I had been here not, geez, you know, with the pandemic, it may have been, gosh, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. It doesn't seem like that though, but for this space, what's happening here is that the basically the management company is buying the premises. The owner is no longer going to be on the license, and the SLA requires a new application be submitted instead of a corporate change or something like that. But also at this time, we'd like to, the outside space had stipulations that were, you know, limited and no F&B out there. So like to bring in a roller cover, and we conducted a sound study for that space, or Mr. Firestein did. So really the method of operation is going to stay the same. In the interest of time, you know, I think that is the most poignant part to discuss, but if you'd like to hear a little bit from Mr. Cantors, who's the general manager, his experience, he's very well experienced in running hotels and is currently running the hotel. So,
Maston, who was the person who did the site visit with us? I guess I thought he was the manager.
Yes, and that is David.
Oh, that's David? Okay, sorry. I
Yeah.
didn't recall his name being David. Okay.
Yeah.
Just to summarize quickly for the committee so we can move on. This is a hotel on West 39th Street. It's sort of the standard layout that has a rear yard that's sort of pretty closely surrounded by buildings. Immediately behind it is another hotel, but there are definitely residential buildings along the sides. And as a result of this, and the STIP form isn't dated, but when this applicant was originally before us, probably 2 years ago, they agreed to a lot of STIPs about the rear yard. There was going to be no food or beverage, no more than 25 people, could only be used between 9 and 9. So basically it was going to be a place where people could sit, but they couldn't eat or drink, and it'd have to be only between 9 and 9. My understanding is the applicant didn't use it at all with those limitations. So now they want to enclose it completely with a roller cover that will, despite it being a roller cover, will always stay closed and want to use it at broader hours. Maston, your answers were a little ambiguous on how late you want it to be open. Some places, one place you said our usual hours of 10 and 11, and then other places you say midnight. What are you looking for?
So, you know, really, you know, if the committee would allow, we would like the outside space to be open from 6 a.m. for breakfast and midnight, if possible. You know, the idea for this is certainly not bar by any means. It really just is to afford the guests some, you know, those that want to sit outside. And
yeah, I guess my view, my just personal view and initial view is that at least in the first go round, I'm a little nervous about that early and that late until we have some track record with the roller cover and is it going to work and so forth. So, you know, at least for I am at the moment is I'd want you to open a little later and close a little earlier, but let's see what people think.
Right, we've had, I think this is the third roller cover that we've had, and we still have had no reports about its effectiveness.
Yeah, I too am waiting honestly for you know a report based on, you know, reasonable experiences of how effective it is. But that's a good segue to, I'd love to have, if possible, Al Firestein to just talk about the report that he did conduct and his findings. And Al, you can summarize if you wouldn't mind, in the interest of time. So let's turn it over to David because I thought I saw David raising his hand when I was.
David's here. You're muted, David.
Can you hear me?
Yes, now we can.
Oh, sorry, I guess I was still on hold. No, I just wanted to contribute to the conversation. We're a 520 room hotel. The vast majority of our guests use our food and beverage and that space for breakfast. And the vast majority of our guests are having breakfast from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Now, of course, our breakfast period starts as early as 7 a.m. So obviously we would be very grateful to have, the opportunity to open the doors to the patio at 7 a.m. But I can assure you that the vast majority of our guests are coming for breakfast around 8 a.m. and then 9 a.m. is really our peak time. Obviously, once we are at full capacity, which we're forecasting next year, our lobby space will benefit from this space outdoors tremendously. And it's never going to be jam-packed. Our guests check in, they go out to explore New York City, they go out to enjoy the venues that are offered in this neighborhood, and they come back and they sleep and they leave. That's the Hyatt Place brand. But this space will be very useful at improving, the hotel's offering and guest experience. I would even go so far as to say critical. And I just want to contribute that to the conversation.
David, is the hotel serving dinner now?
So currently we are only offering breakfast as we are recovering from COVID. Right now we're operating between, I'd say, 50% to 70% occupancy. And if we're lucky, next year our occupancy is forecasted to go back into the 80% occupancies. Right now we are only offering breakfast from 7 to 10 a.m. during the week and from 7:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. during the weekend. Obviously, we do intend on having a full service restaurant that will be served. That would primarily, I would say, like 80% of our revenue, our business is going to be breakfast. And then little light lunch, which I don't think will be significant. And then minor dinner business to the tune of like $10,000 a month. So you're talking about like 20 to 30 covers a night. Some liquor revenue.
Yeah. So that's why it strikes me as sort of ambitious that you'd want to be open that you'd want to keep a full staff there till midnight.
It's not a full staff. The benefit of this space is to expand our lobby because we're a 520 room hotel and our lobby presence is not, extremely significant. I would just hate to turn a guest down who wants to go read a book or have a glass of wine in the late evening. Now, if midnight is a sticking point, I think we can pull that back to 10 p.m. I don't think that would impact our operations significantly. We're just looking.
Let's hear from Al and then see, where the other committee members are.
Okay, can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes, we can, Al.
All right, if you can see that, that's a graph of measurements I made of a roller cover's effectiveness. So when it's closed up, it has tremendous amount of reduction. That's the high curve in the treble, a good amount in the mid-range, not so great in the low frequencies. There's something. So that means whenever you have a sound system in there, it has to be limited, reduce the bass. So I've made a report that says, yeah, you're going to reduce the bass. You're going to keep it at a low level and there shouldn't be a problem. I measured, there's quite a bit of noise in the backyard and it's all from mechanical stuff, I guess, from the hotel behind, or maybe even this hotel or surrounding buildings. But not only will it be below the ambient noise, but it'll be below the noise code as well, with a generous margin, at least 20.
Sorry to interrupt, Al. Sorry to interrupt, Al, but Maston, you answered on the form that you wouldn't have any amplified music in back there. Is that not the case? Is there any music?
I didn't fill out a form.
No, I'm talking to the applicant.
Yeah. No, the idea would be, if recorded background could be.
Okay, all right. So let's listen to Al and then see how people feel. Go ahead, Al. Sorry.
You wanted a quick summary. I gave you the quick summary.
Okay.
It's a no-brainer when you close them up and you don't open it. The only reason they have these things openable is for FAR reasons.
Yeah.
Right,
are any of these actually in operation in any?
Yeah.
How about, I mean,
Oh,
like, how
yeah.
about in hotels in midtowns? Do you know?
Let me talk about something else while I look up a couple of ones that you guys recently have been approved.
Yeah, okay.
We did approve one on somebody's deck.
28th Street, Hyatt 28th.
Chelsea.
One
We
in
approved
Chelsea
one
and
in
also one
Chelsea.
in Midtown. We also
Okay,
had one on like 48th Street or 50th Street off
All right.
8th Avenue.
okay,
Oh.
let's move forward. So, Rob?
Yeah,
is that-
here was one of 305 West 48th Street, 305 West 48th.
Have they opened? Have they opened?
I don't know. I did the report in
No, no,
May.
I believe that's the Arlo. My apologies. I believe that's the Arlo Hotel, which is our immediate neighbor to the back, which has a roller cover terrace currently in operation. They had exactly
that's
what
48. He's talking about 48th.
48th Street,
Oh,
not
my
38th
apologies.
Street.
Right.
So there's
The
another
Arlo,
one.
the Arlo doesn't have a cover.
And I don't.
Well, it does. But, yeah. My apologies. I thought that was the Arlo. I apologize.
Okay, let's stay with this. So Rob, I guess you have your hand up?
Yeah, I do. Listen, most of anything that we agreed on, anything operating outside with a roller cover, have been under very stringent rules. And I remember when this came in front of us before. The outdoor patio space in the back is not the only space that they have. They also have, built within their property line to the east side and to the west side of the front entrance, they've got open space there, which they can run and do. But right above that is also additional space that we're not even discussing that's outside space. So, I mean, if they will agree to the terms and condition that we placed on the original hotel for the outside space, that's fine. But, you know, with what they have now, I'm a definite no.
Okay, guys, the Arlo Hotel was one I did on October 1st, 2019. And I believe it was openable or not openable. So, you know, when you have a situation like that, there's got to be restrictions.
Okay. Christine, were you raising your hand?
Wait, no, I'm a little confused by Rob's comment.
Me
So,
too.
Yes, me too.
are you saying you think they're going to use other outdoor space? Rob?
Yeah. Don't you remember the first time around? They have got a courtyard on the east and west side of their entrance that it's within their property line, so they could pretty much do.
Okay.
Also
Rob,
have a mezzanine above that.
let's just hear from the applicant. Are you using any outdoor space besides the rear yard?
No, our hotel doesn't have any outdoor space to the sides of us. We just have a courtyard directly behind us. We have not been.
I think I'm sorry to interrupt. I think I can clarify that at the time, the discussion was to enclose or roller a portion of the back, but there was still a little bit of a patio left closer
Right.
to 9th Avenue, and maybe a little bit of the patio left, on the other side. So the question would be whether this new installation, the new plan, includes all of those patios or just a portion in the middle.
I believe there's a backyard to the building to the west.
Right.
On 9th Street. That's not ours. There's actually a concrete wall that divides that outdoor space to the hotel that we would obviously not be using. And our intentions are only to use outdoor space that is fully covered so that all the sound is mitigated. We would definitely not be using any outdoor space that is not covered at all.
Got it. So we should put that in the tips, obviously.
Should be a stipulation.
Right. So my question is, you said, 9 o'clock. Did we say 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock?
Well, we were saying 10. We were saying 10, but.
And so if you were saying 10 and there was no music whatsoever, and then it would start.
These are monitors.
It would start at 7, right? So this would be just people, and people would not be standing, they would be all sitting, right?
Sitting, correct, yes.
So I just wanted to clarify what we are talking about.
It's not a place for them to congregate and hang out at a bar.
No,
So I think
it's not.
that's what we are talking about.
There's 35 tables. It's just, you're served, you sit down, you have your meal, and There you go.
Hey, thanks for the question to get the clarification, Christine. Rob?
Were any of the local block associations notified, and did they attend any of the meetings? Because there is residential around there, and are they going to have monitors, TVs? Are they going to be on at 6 o'clock in the morning, with news and stuff?
No, there's no there's no intentions of putting any sort of television monitors out there, and that's fine to stipulate in terms of televisions. We have televisions indoor in our bar space, but definitely nothing outdoor of that nature.
Okay.
Yeah.
So no speakers at all?
Well, I mean, ideally, we would be able to have like lobby music, just the same music we have in our lobby at, playing in the back. So it's like an extension at, appropriate decibels, or even volume limitations, even if it's just a little whisper to have
Oh, but
some
wait. We just, when you answer my question, you say no music, right?
Yeah.
So now we are changing the.
I understand your commentary. I apologize. I thought lobby music, but not like live music or like
No,
speakers.
but I'm back to my question. So when I said there would be no music and no amplified sound, that you said, yeah, that's fine.
Ideally, go ahead.
But we're not talking about ideally, right? We're talking about real.
Just to cut through this, I think any kind of amplified sound in the rear yard is going to be an uphill battle with us.
Right.
Okay.
We'll come back for what, I mean, I really think, and outliers.
You build the thing and it doesn't bother anyone for a year, people will feel differently.
Yep.
Always can come back for alterations.
Well, Mastin loves to come back.
I love to come back.
I have to say, this has been my first board experience, and it's been very phenomenal. So I'd love to come back in a year and speak with you, Christine.
Right. Come back.
Any additional questions, comments from committee people?
No.
Two participants who have their hand. I see Tina, because I'm looking at that white background and I see it. And who's the second person who has their hand up? Ted. Okay, Tina and then Ted.
I'm following up on the prior question. Were the buildings that surround this area notified? Have you heard from anyone? Have signs been posted or any community meetings taken place? And my second question is, just so I understand this correctly, if 50 people or a number of people are talking from the covered, is the conversation muted to the point that sound doesn't travel? I don't have a good understanding as to how much sound will travel to those other buildings.
Yeah, I'll answer your first question. The community has been notified and everything's been posted in accordance with what's been required, what is required. This is, this was done not too long, well, 2 years ago, but, so this isn't certainly the first time in a long time that has been done. But no, we haven't heard anything from the community. No one's come back to us and said anything. It does state in our packet too that, it's an outside space. We're not saying there isn't an outside space, but it is covered with a roller cover, so it's kind of inside. And then that's what leads us really to the sound study. Okay. And that's kind of where I turn it over to Al to see if he can comment on what it means, actual leakage of sound when you have, 50, 60 people, 70 people out there.
Okay, you wouldn't hear any sound in the neighboring residence. You would not hear anything from talking of 100 people in that space, to answer your question. And I see that I recommended it for the Moxie Nomad, the Moxie 105 West 28th, the Moxie at 112 East 11th, the Ludlow at 139 Ludlow. Right. And one more thing.
You gotta wrap this up. It's getting late.
The data that I showed you, I measured at the Empire Hotel where I was working for the neighbors who were bothered. And when we closed that roller cover on their Empire Hotel, the voice problems completely stopped.
Okay, Ted. Unmute.
Hey, I just had a quick question because I was a little bit unclear about the people outside. So it's 100 people sitting. There's no standing because you have 150 capacity for the outdoor and 100 for seating. So is 50 of those people staff, or is it 150 patrons standing outside?
The max capacity is 150, but it's not intended, and correct me if I'm wrong, David, but not intended to have people standing. Everyone's supposed to be sitting. I
Correct.
suppose that, you know, if all tables were filled.
I mean, of course, we're standing to get in and out, but
Yeah.
it's all seated. It's got seating and table. The diagram would have seating and table so that it's, you know, maximizing seating capacity, not, you know, standing capacity. It's not like it's got a dance floor or anything like, you know, where you could put a bunch of people together that are standing. I don't anticipate having seating out there for 150 people at all. I mean, obviously you'll have a server or two going out if they're having table service, but it's definitely more along the lines of 90 to 100 people seated, maximum.
Okay, and so you'd stipulate that there'd be no standing patrons permitted in the rear yard, and also that there's no bar in the rear yard, I assume, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Well, that's what was confusing because I only saw like 50 seats on the outdoor chart that you presented on the application. So I was wondering where 50 seats were at, unless I'm looking at the wrong chart.
I would have to review that chart, but I can tell you that the seating diagram is 35 tables and 100 seats. I don't have the diagram in front of me, but the capacity is 35 tables, 100 seats.
On the application, it says 35 tables and 100 seats.
Yeah.
Ted, I think some of the confusion is each of those tables along the wall has 2 seats at them because they're like banquettes, but they don't show up clearly as seats.
I see.
So it gets pretty close to 100 if you count them as 2, not 1.
We have one more committee member. Rob, did you have your hand up again?
Yeah, I did. I just wanted clarification. So the last time that, other than putting up notices that there was community involvement or approaching or talking to anyone in the community, was 2 years ago when you originally applied. So this time around, you have not, other than put up notices, really engaged the community or block associations or talked or spoke with any of the block associations.
No, they sent email because I received the email. So they sent email to a list of people. I'm not sure this is the proper list, but you know, I certainly received the notification.
And then I don't think there's ever been much, and I don't think there's ever been much community interest in this location.
Well, no, yes, there was a lot. Laszlo lives right behind it on 502, 504, 508 9th Avenue.
Oh, okay.
And he was pretty vocal last time.
There was one individual who for sure was vocal, but
doesn't seem to be here tonight.
You know, we do, and I don't know.
We're good, Maston. I think we're good. Let's try to.
It's been open since then.
If we can get a resolution.
Let's try to summarize the resolution.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So, rear yards, all rear yard space used by patrons will be fully enclosed by a roller cover that will be kept closed on roof at all sides at all times. All doors and windows leading to rear yard will be kept closed at all times, with doors used only for entering and exiting. Rear yard will be used by patrons beginning no earlier than 7 a.m. and will be closed and vacated of patrons no later than 10 p.m. nightly. There will be no TVs or amplified sound of any kind in rear yard, no standing patrons permitted in rear yard, and no bar in rear yard.
Okay.
Move that we approve the application with those steps, Frank.
Okay, is there a second?
I'm sorry, wait. There's a member of the public with their hand raised.
Oh, okay. Invite them, Nellie.
And Maston, I'd obviously conform all the places on the form.
Oh, here is
so the hours are 7 to 10 everywhere.
Yep.
Okay, could you introduce that person from the public there, Nellie?
Yes, Laszlo?
Oh, it is Laszlo.
You're on mute, Laszlo.
Laszlo, please unmute yourself.
Or what is the number on the phone? It's that.
No, his pictures is his. It's not a phone. So Maston,
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that.
So
I'm sorry I'm sorry I'm late, but I guess I came at the right time. And obviously my objection, I heard the what you guys were talking about, the fact that I did object to this last time, and I would like pretty much to have kept the same hours as we had last time. It was not 7 a.m. but 8 a.m. if I remember correctly. And also part of the thing that I'm worried about is, what is the possibility of this ever being open for whatever reason? The air conditioning's not working, the heat is not working, or whatever. What is that? Is it from them to stop? What I'm asking is there a way that they can possibly open up this rooftop, you know, in a year from now, in 6 months from now, you know, for whatever reason they have?
Well, it has to be.
What was the
capable.
stipulation you had, Frank?
Yeah. So Laszlo, as a mechanical matter, it has to be capable of being opened, because otherwise it's considered indoor space and it changes.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I
So-
understand that. I think it's a building code thing that they have to, you know, abide by.
Right.
Which I understand. But I want to make sure that they will never ever open it.
Well, Laszlo, why don't you hear what the stipulation we have?
No, I think you
I
heard
heard
it.
it. I did hear it, and I just want to make sure that in a year from now, after they got their liquor license, that they are, you know, that they will not open it up again. You know what I mean?
Well,
Stop it.
Laszlo, what's going to happen is that if they do that, you're going to tell us, and we are going to write to the SLA saying yank their license. But that's the only insurance we can provide at this point. There is no
Okay.
other way to provide an insurance.
Okay, now how come we moved it from 7 a.m., I mean, from 8 a.m. to 7 a.m.?
Because the 8 a.m. was with no roller cover or anything. That was when it was pure outdoor space.
Uh-huh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I'll accept that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right.
Okay, so we have a resolution. Did we have a second? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed?
Nay.
Those, I was gonna say ambivalent. That's not the word I'm looking for, right?
Abstain.
Abstain. Thank you, Frank. Maybe I'm too hungry right now. And those present not eligible. Okay.
Yeah, we got one more quick thing.
Oh.
The statement of district needs.
Oh.
Well, so this is, each committee is asked for areas in which they want to propose, you know, where resources of the city be devoted and things put in the city budget.
Yeah,
I think historically,
this is budget oriented.
Yeah, let's cut and paste last year's, Frank.
No, I
Last
think
year's, resubmit last year's.
we didn't have anything last year.
We didn't have
Exactly. That's right.
Last year, but wait.
One at a time.
We are going to get into the world of the new permanent open restaurants. And we're going to need a lot of enforcement. So what we should ask is a lot of enforcement for open restaurant. And that's going to come from the DOT, and we should put a line there saying they need to have people which are going to inspect and enforce. And that's going to be critical for the open restaurant to work, especially if the open restaurant don't come in front of us.
And so we're talking about, what month is this? This is September. We're talking about the budget. Yes, Christine, you're right. Because we're talking about the 23 budget.
Exactly.
Fiscal year 23, which begins July 1st, 22, going through June 30th, 23, which if everything works right, the permanent rules and regs will be implemented beginning January 1st,
Yeah.
23.
Yeah.
I also want to throw out, and this is even vaguer right now. Remember, we have marijuana is legal in New York State now. We have a state just recently appointed, the governor appointed the whatever they're called, the Hefe, for the committee to figure out how we're going to do it. But one of the things that we've asked for is licensing of cannabis lounges, and that also will have to have enforcement. So we just want to throw that out.
Right.
I'm sorry to
what that
interrupt
means, who
members.
will be doing the enforcing? That is still up in the air. Maston, did you?
Sorry to interrupt. Are we good?
done.
Because you're done. Yeah.
You're
Okay.
done.
We have to say,
You
but
just
can go
want you
on.
to come back. You just want you to come back.
I didn't want to leave.
Al, you could also go.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And thank you for
Thank you,
agreeing
Al.
to the various concessions.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Bye. David, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Al. Okay.
And I guess we should ask also for transparency. You know, forever we have been asking the SLA stipulation in a map, etc. And I think we should ask the same thing for the open restaurants from the city, that as soon as they are starting to approve things, that we have a map and, you know, what was approved essentially. What was the design that was approved, the lengths and the, you know, we need to have that transparent to us.
Right. And that should be able to work off the DCA's sidewalk cafe thing, which just got up and running, right? Shortly before the
I
pandemic.
don't know that. I didn't check that.
And the DCA thing works pretty well
Okay.
for sidewalk cafes. So I would think it would be the same
Right.
system. Just
Right.
moved
So
over
we
to-
will take these recommendations and send it to the boards.
And maybe that now that we have a new governor, we should write a resolution asking again for the maps and the stipulation to be put online, right?
Are you talking about the SLA or
Yeah.
open restaurant?
Yes.
Well, but that's not city budget. That's state.
No,
so
that's what I'm
not-
saying. I'm saying let's write
That's something else.
a resolution.
But for new committee members, what we're doing now, and this is light compared to what other committees are doing, it goes to the board's budget task force, because one of the legal responsibilities of the community board is to determine community needs and make budgetary recommendations. Not that they'll necessarily be followed, but they do respond. They do have to respond to what we are asking for. They have to respond in a way saying, we don't have the resources now, we're in process of doing it, or we're going to be funding it, but they have to respond. So this is the part of the process. This is the beginning.
All right. So should we vote on something or?
Well,
So
we have a
Bert,
consensus.
do you want to do the marijuana thing or just the open restaurants?
I throw it in, you know, and it's up to the budget committee if they want to accept it or not. But it's going to be something, whatever, if we have any responsibility at the community board level and the city level, we have to have enforcement.
Okay.
That's all. Whatever that means.
All right.
I don't know what it
Do we have a
means.
motion?
And Frank, do you want, and Bert, do you want to write that resolution asking again for the SLA, for an SLA, because now we have a new governor, right? So asking for an SLA.
That would be not, we can do that next month.
Yeah.
But that would be something different than the budget process. Sure.
Okay.
Okay.
Why don't you just email Melly to remind her to put it on the agenda for next month?
Okay.
Okay, that's good. Do we have a consensus without necessarily a vote?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bert, can you submit whatever needs to be submitted on this to the budget
I
task?
have to be on the budget task force so I can take care of it.
Right, and you ran it for a while.
Yeah.
Fun times.
Fun times, yeah.
Now it's time for other people to do it.
Okay.
Good
All
night,
right.
everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be
Bye-bye.
well. Bye.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night. Thank you for hanging in.
You're welcome.
All right, thanks, Nellie.
You're welcome.
Yes,
Good night.
no. Good night.